What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Leeds United career mode in FIFA 17. This is episode number 11. Now we are in today's episode, I take on Reading, and I think we have another game after this. I can't remember who it's against, though. We are going straight into the gameplay that we did in the last episode. In the last episode, I mentioned that we want to start winning more games as we were on 8 draws and 8 wins. In this episode, we managed to move up to 9 wins and 8 draws going into this game against Reading here. That was in the last episode, obviously, when we won 3-0 away from home at Brighton and Hove Albion, I think it was, who we actually played in that one and managed to win 3-0. So we take on Brighton here. Reading. We just played Brighton. In decent enough form going into this after getting that clean sheet and 3 goals against a very tough opposition in Brighton, who obviously had Jose Perez as well up front, if you remember it from last episode. And they had a very, very solid team. We played Reading before now in the Cup, I think it was, and we absolutely smashed them and tore them a new one. So I was hoping for the similar thing here in the Championship, as that was their team. Al Habsi, it was Al Habsi in goal for them, with Gunter, who actually is formerly, I think that's Chris Gunter, of who used to be a Premier League player, I think. I do like Chris Gunter. I think he's a very solid fullback, and they actually had Williams as well in that centre mid spot. So I don't think it's the same Danny Williams from the Journey, but imagine if that was the case, it would be quite interesting there. But it's not the same Danny Williams, they just have a similar player with that name. You're going to see our team that we've named in a second here. It's our usual one. I think it's our backup side to what we would normally name. It might be the first team here. I can't quite remember what I actually named because I don't know what we've done, because we've swapped it around a lot recently with the fact of Joel Green playing extremely well. I know Iwobi, Antonsen and Sacco are our front three today in going into this one, but I can't quite remember who the rest of the team is. I think we've got Mowat. I can see Mowat on the screen there, so I do think we have Mowat. I think that's Tyler Blackett as well of Manchester United, who's actually in the side for Reading today. So again, another solid player there for a Championship side to be having in their team. But in terms of teams, we, for me, should be coming out on top here. And the first chance fell our way as Antonsen gave it into Sacco in the middle of the pitch here. 4 minutes into this one, he gives it to, I think that's Eiling up from right back there, who gives it into Antonsen. And Antonson's strike is absolute gold for us. 7 minutes into this game. I don't know if you've ever tried it in FIFA recently. If you hit the shots very, very early, the keeper sort of seems to get a little bit, I guess, confused about where he needs to be going. If you take the strike on early and he's not when the keeper's expecting it, sometimes the keeper doesn't actually move till the ball's actually past them. And it's one of the things in FIFA that I really like this year, because if someone was to shoot from an angle like that in real life, the keeper wouldn't be expecting it. And to go into the corner of the goal and only just go into that side netting, I don't think there's many keepers in the world, barring the best in the world, that would have saved that from Antonsen there. So an absolutely unreal strike from our number 10 gets us underway in this game. 10 minutes in, we have a second chance for ourselves as we give it to Sacco here, and I was thinking this has got to be 2-0, but unfortunately we could only fire that one over the bars. We got a corner for ourselves in the 43rd minute now. Whip the corner in, Sacco's there again, who's having an absolute wonderful game so far. His header, though, is an absolute unbelievable save from Ali Al Habsi there in the Reading goal, as you can see it here from their different angle. Get the header on target, and what a one-handed save this is by the Reading goalkeeper to keep them in this game, still at 1-0 here. And obviously, we were trying to put this game to bed here. I wanted to put it to bed ASAP, so I didn't have to sort of worry about it. Sacco, lovely control again. He's had 3 chances now, but his shot is very weak in the end from a very, very, well, what should have been an easy angle for him to put the ball in the back of the net, but we didn't manage to do that. As we get ourselves a free kick here in the 70th minute, I controlled the game from minute 1 in this one. Reading didn't really have too much going at us. This is on World Class, like I said, from episode number, I think it's 12 or 13, sorry. It is going up to be Legendary all the way through this series now, so we will be moving to Legendary. So these are World Class. I've sort of got the hang of it now. I'm grasping it, and it will be more interesting to make the series better if I bump it up to Legendary, as Moat takes his free kick on, but unfortunately skied it over the bar in the 71st minute of the game. Into the 90th minute now, and that is the way the game would end. So he managed to win by a goal to 0 here. Could have easily been more. We created a number of chances in this one, as you can see from the match facts in a second. We had 5 shots, 3 on target. Reading didn't create a single chance. That's what I mean about World Class. I either don't create chances, that's what I mean about World Class, sorry. I either create loads of chances and the computer don't create any, but then as soon as I went to Legendary, I don't create chances and the computer don't create chances, so it becomes a bore fest. So it is going up to Legendary, and maybe if the computer don't start creating chances and I still am, I'll possibly fix with sliders to make the computer slightly, in terms of, don't want to make them OP, but I want them to sort of be relevant in the game, so I may have to fix it with sliders. We'll see how we get on once we bump it up to Legendary for the whole series, because fingers crossed it'll make the series more interesting at the same time as being a bit more realistic. But in terms of real-life football, I don't know how much more realistic we can get when you look at who won the Premier League last season in Leicester, and then look at how they're doing now. Obviously, they're in the Champions League, sorry, and they've actually won every single game as I'm recording this in the Champions League. So kudos to them. They're doing extremely well in there, but their league form is suffering for it, and that's exactly the problem you have when a team goes into it, not knowing what to expect, having never been there before. So I hope Leicester get through the group stage. I want to see them in the knockout phase of the Champions League. And it will be very interesting if they can get there, because a number of times we've seen English teams falter in the Champions League. I want us to go further this year. I want to try and get us into those quarterfinals, semi-finals if possible, and I want to see English teams battle it out with the best teams in the world, because at the end of the day, if we are serious about us saying that the Premier League is the best league in the world, we want to attract all this talent and get all these players into the best league in the world, we have to be competitive when it comes to continental football, and that's exactly what we need to be doing in the Champions League. We have to get to the finals of the Champions League in the next 3 years for me, and possibly even win it for us still to be called the best league in the world, because obviously, you know, you look at the Spanish league and you've got obviously Barcelona, stuff like that, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, so yes, I think in terms of competitiveness, our league is the best league in the world because we have a number of teams that are around the same sort of skill level, so you never quite know what to expect within the Premier League, but at the same time, in terms of the best teams in the Premier League, I think we are sort of quite far off the best teams around the world, in that of Bayern Munich, Dortmund, all these rest of these teams. I still think we're slightly a little bit off of those guys, but I do think the competitiveness of the Premier League makes it the best league in the world. But for the best teams in the world, we are not up there for me, and I think people sort of need to understand that now. Back in 2009 and below, when we used to get teams in the final on a regular occasion of the Champions League, I think we had an all-English final at one point as well. Yes, we were very up there, we were very good. But unfortunately now we've sort of slipped off in the Champions League, and it would be nice to get ourselves back into the finals and stuff like that in the Champions League in real life and try and get an English team in there, as obviously being English, if an English team got there I would support them. When Chelsea won it not so long ago, I supported them, even though I support Arsenal, and they're both London clubs, obviously rivals. But when Chelsea won it, I was supporting them all the way, as we made our first chance in this game 54 minutes into it. A blocked shot from us, unfortunately, didn't manage to get it through. This one was on Legendary, by the way. This was such an annoying game to play. There was one chance created by Brentford, and then we had one chance, and I think I created a second chance in the 77th minute. This is what I mean. It took 77 minutes for a real chance to actually come into this one. As Kamaru going to give this ball to Joel Green, who turns in the area, and he's going to fire that one home into the bottom left corner of the goal. 79 minutes into this one. Absolutely wonderful finish from my youth academy prospect. I am really looking forward to seeing how he gets on in this Leeds United career mode and seeing where we can get into. Hopefully, fingers crossed, like I mentioned in a couple of episodes ago, I do not want him to be to get an offer from a bigger club and move from Leeds United, because I don't want that to happen. I want to try and keep him here as long as possible, see what rating we can get him up to, and see if we can get him into the upper echelons of the top players in the world. If that's possible, then fantastic. We'll be having a wonderful player for the rest of the series. Fingers crossed he doesn't leave. That's my only sort of concern with Joel Green. I do not want him to leave this club, as he makes it 1-0 for us in the 70-something, I think it was 79th minute. 87 minutes now as Kamaru is put through by a very nice through ball, but unfortunately he could only fire over the bar, and we were in control of this game, even though it was on Legendary, as I think it was Brentford who had the next chance of the game, as they went through down the left-hand side. A very nicely worked chance for them. A great block by Unai Garcia in the box there. Fantastic sliding tackle to stop them having the strike on goal, which is blocked. Goes out for a corner. They whip the corner in. It's a very, very interesting corner technique that they try here. Managed to tackle them, though, and the referee blows for the full-time whistle. So we win this game by a goal to nil as well, just like we did in the first game of the episode. So very, very thankful that we managed to win that one as well. This one was on Legendary, as you can see there. 3 shots, 1 on target, and Brentford had 2 shots and 1 on target themselves. So a very boring game of FIFA, but thankfully we saw a goal in this one. I managed to pick up 2 victories from possible 2 games in this episode, so I'm very happy with the way this episode went. If we are serious about chasing the top 2, then we have to make sure we're winning games, and that's exactly what we have done here. As you can see, there are the other results in the Championship if you are really interested. I think Norwich managed to win as well, so there you go. That's what the league table looks like. I think we're 11 points behind second now, who's Aston Villa. That's crazy to see. We do not stand a chance, in my opinion, of getting back into where we want to be with fighting those 2 for those positions, as we have a game against Aston Villa coming up in the next few days. So, fingers crossed you've enjoyed this episode of Career Mode. If you have, don't forget to drop a like button. I just want to say megally thank you for all the support you've been showing me on the series so far, and the channel's grown so much in the last week. I think we've got the most subscribers I've ever had in a week. But I think we've got the most subscribers that I've had in a month within a week, which is crazy. So, thank you so much for watching all the videos you've watched, leaving likes, leaving comments, whatever you've done. And yeah, I just want to say a major thank you for doing all that. And I'll see you all for the next episode of Career Mode or the next video on my channel very soon. Adios.